evening, everybody. Fight fans, you know who I am. Ingram Jones from Bayloric TV. And the gentleman next to me, a good friend.
Yes, it's David on the undefeated heavyweight from Doncaster, Leeds, Sheffield area, joining Ingram tonight to discuss Kovalev Pascal.
Excellent stuff, Dave. Great way. You just charge your way right in. That's how I like you. Get stuck into things. Right, so we're going to talk about Pascal Kovalev. Before we do that, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell the fans who you are, what you do. I know you just said that you're from that part of the world, but tell us a bit more about your career or what you've done previously.
Yeah, to be honest, I've had 7 fights undefeated. My best one's probably Over the Hill, Larry Alabama. I'm probably more well known for being a part of Team Fury and sparring the likes of Tyson Fury, Hughie Fury, Eddie Chambers, Arthur Spielke, and Anthony Joshua extensively, and also Vladimir Klitschko.
And your amateur background?
Yeah, I was a British national champion. I had 10 amateur fights and won 4 Euros titles and a national title.
Impressive. So I notice you're wearing a very nice top there. Yeah,
this top, this has not been worn specially tonight. It's the only Marvin Hagler top with fine line, and it's been worn to swallow the likes of Klitschko, even Clinton Woods, Tyson, Joshua, you name them. This is the top. This is the top that I always wear to sparring. So yeah.
It says War Hagler for those who can't read it.
Yeah, when I wear this, you can't quit when you're wearing Marvin's name.
Right. I have to say I like Marvin, but Sugar Ray was my fighter. So
it was before my time, but I've still got a big tattoo on my chest saying "War" after the cap for the Hearns fight.
Yeah, it was war that night, and it was skill and grace and beauty and combinations with Leonard that night.
I think Hagler won, but I think it's best we move on. That'll take a while. That discussion there.
History tells us something different.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into this. By the time Pascal will be out of the ring.
Okay, let's talk Pascal Kovalev. And then we might come back to Hagler Hearns and Hagler Leonard later, yeah?
Yeah, I think tonight's fight, I think these are the 2 best light heavyweights in the world. Even though Pascal, he has got a defeat to Hopkins recently, and people see Stevenson as the maybe number 2 heavyweight. I think these are the 2 best fighters in the division.
Well, I've always seen Stevenson as a one-handed fighter. If he clips you that left hand, you're in trouble. If you looked at the belly fight, all he was doing is trying to load up that left hand.
I think he's a huge punching. I think he's huge for the weight, but as Fanfara showed, you weather that early storm and take him into deep waters. I think it's a case that he struggles at the weight. I think he struggles to do the 12-round distance. So I think he'd struggle. Massively with the winner of tonight.
Right. I mean, when Kovalev was looking for opponents, I preferred him to fight Pascal than Hopkins, because I felt that Hopkins could be outworked, and with someone who punches as hard as Kovalev, he doesn't give you a lot of room to mess about and trying to fiddle your way around. This guy Kovalev, I said it before the Cleverly fight, and I keep telling people, Kovalev hits with dynamite power. He's not just a puncher, he's an atomic puncher, which means one shot and you're out of there, not one shot and you're getting up and you're thinking about maybe continuing. He hits you and you're gone.
Kovalev, I think he hits you hard and hits you very often as well. He's very accurate. He's not Stevenson. He's very one-dimensional. He's got the low lead hand. He fires a jab out and he looks for the big left hand. Kovalev can beat you over 12 rounds. He can take you out in 1. He's a very smart fighter. He's not just a puncher. And I think Hopkins would have beat Stevenson. But I think Kovalev is the number 1 man. Although I don't think tonight's a foregone conclusion by any means.
Yeah, I think Pascal brings a different challenge, probably the best challenge of Kovalev's career so far. You've got somebody who's teak tough, who's got a big heart, and will keep fighting for 12 rounds, and has never been knocked out.
I think the thing with Pascal is, it seems he does the 12 rounds, but he's still got question marks over his stamina. He seems to be gassing halfway through the first round, but the fight with Froch. I mean, after you watch the fight with Froch, you could never question the man's heart. You know, he's as tough as they come, and you know, there's question marks over Kovalev's chin as well. And Pascal, he may not be the puncher Stevenson is, but you know, I think he'll hit harder. If he hits Kovalev, you know, we'll find out about Kovalev's chin tonight.
Absolutely, that's if Pascal gets close to Kovalev's chin, because the one thing I can envision with this fight is Pascal rushing at Kovalev. Now, when you're rushing, and the way Pascal throws his punches at times can come across quite wildly, he's open for counters. And for someone like Kovalev, who's probably the better boxer out of the two, I think that Pascal's the better brawler out of the two. Kovalev's the better boxer. And the straight punches will get there quicker than the roundhouse punches. What do you think to that?
I think the link up with Pascal with Roy Jones Jr. is a confusing one for myself. You know, Pascal's not. No, I think Pascal is a very tough man. You know, he's good. You know, solid all round. But he's not as long as Kovalev. You know, and he's going to be jumping in with punches. And Kovalev, I think Kovalev's going to stand off Pascal. I think we may see Pascal taking the game to Kovalev.
He's got no choice. I can't.
I think he's got another option because Kovalev is, you know, is amazingly long. I don't know what his exact measurements are, but he looks extremely long.
I'm not sure. The boxing ability, I'm not so sure about, because Hopkins, I mean, really took him to task. Pascal can be outboxed. Even Carl Froch. I wouldn't call Carl Froch a boxer. I would call him a brawler, you know? And I think Froch out-brawled him that night. I mean, he's not scientific, Pascal.
No, he's a solid, you know, he's got a solid technique. He's just a solid, good fighter. But I think as far as his boxing, I think in the past few years I've watched Pascal, I think he's got worse. I think he's just relied on his toughness.
Yes.
You know, I think he's relied on that, and he's relied on, you know, clubbing heavy shots, swinging from the hips.
Yep.
As he comes in rather clumsily. I think that's gone downhill. You know, if he's relying on his toughness tonight and swinging shots from weird angles, he's not going to get away with that, Kovalev, because Kovalev's going to hit him. He's going to hit him hard, and he's going to be at a distance. What
I don't understand is he's brought Roy Jones into camp. I think it's the second or third fight of Roy Jones. That's fine, yeah. But if you look at Roy Jones' style, Roy Jones was never a brawler. Roy Jones was he was excellent offensively. Very excellent offensively. He had speed, he had movement, he had great boxing skills, but he made a lot of fundamental mistakes that he was able to get away with because of that speed, unique speed. When Roy started to slow down, that's where those weaknesses or those flaws that you had started to come out as he got older and getting caught with punches you shouldn't normally be getting caught with. But because he didn't have the fundamentals back then, he got away with that unorthodox style. What does Roy Jones bring to Pascal's boxing?
I don't think he brings anything at all. I think it's the fact that he's Roy Jones Jr. I think obviously Roy Jones, you know, is a great fighter. He was a great fighter, and you know, I'm not saying he doesn't know boxing or he wouldn't make a great coach, but it's the same as a lot of fighters in Sheffield who try to fight the Nazim Hamed style. You know, he's a one-off. You know, we can't all punch like that, or we're not all ambidextrous. And Pascal cannot fight like Roy Jones. Which doesn't mean that Roy Jones can only train the one way. Doesn't mean that Roy Jones will train everyone to fight like himself. I don't know. I've seen clips of him training Pascal, and you know, I don't think he's going to make a good trainer as a fighter. You know, that's probably the most polite way of putting it.
That's true. I think Pascal looked in tremendous shape, but Roy Jones made a very interesting point. He said that Pascal fitness or stamina is a mental thing. So is he saying that Pascal is mentally weak?
Well, I don't know, but Pascal always looks in great shape. And the thing with most fighters these days, you've got to be in great shape to make the weight limit, because you know they're draining themselves down to the weight. Pascal getting through like 13.5 stone, so you know there won't be an ounce of fat on him for him to make 12 stone 7. So as far as the fitness goes, I think there's either two ways. I think there's what Roy Jones is saying. It's a mental thing. You know, he's thinking, you know, 12 rounds is a long time, which it is. I've never boxed. I've sparred. I've fought 12 rounds. You know, and I've done scheduled for 6 rounds. After 2 rounds out, I'm thinking I'm tired, but I think you've always got more in reserve, or it's a case of he's struggling to make the weight.
That's a question. He's a big guy.
And I think a lot of fighters, are guilty of this. Cutting so much weight. That's the main reason I'm glad I'm a heavyweight, so I don't have to cut the weight. I think a lot of fighters are really draining themselves to make the weight, and there's no way over a 12-round fight it can't be taking a toll on the stamina.
Pascal could potentially be a cruiserweight, right?
I think Kovalev definitely could. Kovalev's got the frame, I think if the 13-stone-6 division, cruiserweight division was still about, I think a lot of light heavyweights would be in the 13-stone-6 division.
See, he looks very muscular, Pascal. Could it be that his muscles, his muscles get tired quicker, and when he goes down the stretch from 6 onwards, lactic acid gets in, and so therefore that's where the stamina issues are, and therefore he'd have to change the way he's training to make his less weight training and more rapid training. What do they call it again? Where instead of you pumping with big weight muscles, you're just using light muscles to more flexibility in the muscles. Instead, Bruno had that problem. Bruno was great until you got him into the later half of the fight, and then he started having stamina issues simply because the weight he had him was just too much.
I think if you look at Vladimir Klitschko, I think he's a great example. If you saw him, he's a really muscular athlete.
Yes.
And he does 12 rounds like nobody else in the world. For a 17-and-a-half-stone man to do 12 rounds like he does, it's amazing. So I'm not sure if the being able to beat an issue. I don't know. I mean, everyone's saying that about Anthony Joshua currently. Is he too muscle bound? I think with Pascal, I don't know. I think it could be a number of things, and I suppose only he will know.
There's another thing people say is that you train the way you fight. If Pascal fights a certain way, which is to be a brawler and to push forward all the time, but his training is contradictory to that, and he's training, he's cutting corners, or he's training, he's not really putting in the rounds necessary for the stamina down the stretch, and he's not improving those areas. Could that be a problem as well?
It could be. Of course, it could be a problem. Yeah, for definite. That's the thing. I think betting on boxing. I rarely bet on boxing because I know, there's an 8-week training camp into these fights, and we haven't got an insight into it. So it's always hard to make a prediction on a fight, because when you're doing it yourself and there's little things can go wrong in you. And I've been around people preparing for world title fights and stuff, and they're little niggles, or the train's not gone as well, and we're not getting an insight into Pascal's camp or Kovalev's camp, so we don't know how they're prepared for tonight. But I think with Pascal, I think it's a case. I personally believe it's a mental issue.
Okay.
And he's trying to conserve energy. I think that's the case of it is, because you as a fighter as well know. Mm-hmm. It's always on your mind in there.
Absolutely.
It's always on your mind. You don't want to get caught short. That's the last thing. That's the worst thing that can ever happen in a ring.
But I don't know about you, but certainly going in a ring knowing that it could potentially be your last fight and there's somebody out there looking to knock your block off, that fear drives you in training to go to places you wouldn't normally go. You would quite happily visit the dark places to ensure that you get out the fight safe and well, and to ensure you don't get hit and hurt. Your thoughts?
Yes, I mean, I've never been known as a great trainer, so maybe this is not an aspect I can comment on, freely, but, the only fight I really trained for, was a rematch with a Bulgarian that I got a draw with.
Yeah.
And that was the only fight I've ever been fearful for.
Right.
So yeah, but fear is a big factor, but fear can also drain you as well.
As my trainer used to tell me, that fear can do two things. It can either make you stronger, or it can paralyze you. So make fear your best friend.
I think when Kovalev boxed Cleverly, I think Cleverly fell into that trap.
Yes, absolutely.
I think Kovalev will do that to a lot of fighters. And I think when Hopkins felt Kovalev's power, he seems to be on his back and using a lot more excessive movement than most of his fights I've seen.
So that's the thing when you're making these predictions. You think, oh, this guy looks good in this fight. This looks good in that fight. Oh, he switched game plan here. That's fine. But you're going against a guy now. Can you change your style when a guy hits as hard as Kovalev? He hits you that hard. Can you change your style under pressure? Or can you reduce the amount of times you're getting hit by that puncher and land your own punches more than he's landing on you? That's the thing. If Pascal can land his punches more than Kovalev lands on him and reduces the amount of times that Kovalev hits him, he's in with a shot.
That's a difficult thing, like you say. If Pascal looks at Kovalev's last fight and he watches the fight with Hopkins and he thinks, well, Kovalev's is a come forward counter puncher, is how I'd describe him. He comes forward, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's overly aggressive. Mm-hmm. He's got a good jab, and he hits very hard. But tonight he may want Pascal to walk onto him. He may look at Pascal and say, he boxed on the back foot, and he's got stamina issues. Pascal may come out tonight. Their game plan maybe to put on Kovalev and push and see if there's doubts about his chin. There's good reason for them doubts. So you never ever know. You can make a game plan and it could go out the window in the first round.
What are your thoughts on the fact that that Kovalev is recognised actually as the #1 light heavyweight in the world after his win against Hopkins, which is something not to be sneezed at? He beat Hopkins, but yet in his next fight, he's going to make a defence in Canada. He's going to Pascal's backyard. Why is he not fighting Pascal, on his home turf? I mean, he's the WBO champion, right?
I don't think Kovalev's entirely fussed. He's Russian born.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to take the fight to Russia. I don't think Kovalev will fight in Russia. He's based in America now. So wherever he fights, he's going to be the away guy wherever he fights, and I truly believe that he thinks he can beat any man anywhere. I think he's of that mindset.
So your final prediction for the fight, what do you think?
I think Kovalev should win. I see Kovalev points win. I think Pascal's very tough, very clever. That many fights. I don't see Pascal getting stopped. If anyone's getting stopped, I believe it'll be Kovalev. I think tonight could be the night. I think he has to box very clever. Not for the stoppage, be clever. Box long, and box clever. Otherwise, I think Pascal could surprise him. And it only takes one shot. And I think Pascal could land it. I'm going for either a Pascal KO win or Kovalev on points, which is clever.
I believe if Pascal's going to get the knockout, he's got to do it in the first 6. I don't believe he knocks Kovalev out in the second half of the fight. I believe in the second half of the fight is where Kovalev takes over, takes control, and puts it on Pascal.
I think Kovalev straight away is going to come to the middle of the ring and try and keep Pascal on a jab. Mm-hmm. And then from there, really, it's Pascal's job to initiate the next move. Because if Kovalev can keep on the jab for 12 rounds, that's a win. That's a 12-round win. So I believe it's on Pascal really to he's got to counteract Kovalev's jab and length.
What's very frightening about this fight for me, again about Kovalev, is that if you look at the first round, he dropped. Was it first or second round? He dropped Hopkins. And he kind of just sat back after that as if to say, I'm not sure if I can do the 12 rounds. And in the 12th round, he had so much gas left, he just stepped on it and he went out there to hurt Hopkins. And you think, if he had had a 12-rounder fight that he knew he could do the 12 rounds well, and he'd gone out there and fought Hopkins full blast first round, he could have stopped Hopkins in the first couple of rounds. Because when he actually put his foot down against Hopkins, he had Hopkins in some serious trouble. That makes you think, wow, this guy could have stopped Hopkins. I mean, really hurt him, beat him up badly. Bearing in mind, Hopkins is 50 now, or 49. Does Pascal is he tough enough to take Kovalev's best, back him up, and hurt him? That's the question.
I think the call of the 12th round with Hopkins, I think after a couple of rounds, Hopkins just wanted to go the distance. He didn't want to get stopped. So, that's not 12 rounds at championship pace, which I believe Pascal can bring.
Right.
If he truly believes in himself, I think he can force a pace and take it to Kovalev. Whether he does or not, I'm not sure. But the Hopkins fight, it was a tremendous pace. So I think Pascal's going to definitely bring something new to the table that Kovalev won't have seen before.
I'm a massive Kovalev fan, but I'm going to be controversial tonight. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say Pascal closes Kovalev down, closes the range down for him to be able to throw punches, backs Kovalev against the ropes, doesn't allow him the space he normally gets, and lands on Kovalev's chin and causes a sensation. That's another way of looking at it. I'm a massive Kovalev fan, but just because you've gone Kovalev, I don't want to say, well, Kovalev as well. It's the logical pick to go with Kovalev for all the reasons we've mentioned beforehand. But I'm going to put a case for Pascal that he can close the range down, prevent Kovalev from landing those big shots from long range. Because I'm not sure what Kovalev is like up close. And his inside game, I'm not sure about that. And I'm not sure about his chin or his heart. There was, in the Cleverly fight, Cleverly caught him with a good shot. And the gum shield came out from Kovalev. I don't know if you remember that. It was in the second round before Kovalev actually went on and stopped Cleverly. And around that point, I thought, interesting. That Cleverly wasn't able to step on that to see what Kovalev's fighting heart is like. Tonight, he's going to have to fight. And if Pascal, like I said, can close the range down, stop Kovalev from getting long range shots off, close the range, get his head on his chest, and make a dogfight of it, there's always the possibility. He puts pressure on Kovalev, makes him make mistakes, drops his left hand and gets caught with a left hook. No, don't go. So what do you think? Dave? What do you think?
I totally missed the last minute. It just froze.
Okay, the last minute. What did I say? What was I saying? I said that basically Pascal gets on his chest, stops him from doing what he normally does, puts pressure on Pascal on Kovalev that he's not had before, opens him up, and lands on him.
I think if Pascal's going to land the shot, I think it's just going to be an out of the. When he's miles behind on points and he clips Kovalev, and Kovalev's chin is going to have to be, as shaky as people think, because I think Kovalev's just going to keep him at range and getting inside the man of Kovalev's class. It's a lot easier said than done on the TV. It looks a very simple thing to do, but from experience, I've been there. I've tried to slip a Klitschko jab, a Fury jab, a Joshua jab. Trying to slip a man's jab who's armed that long, and then once he starts taking a few of them in the face, he's gonna start putting them off. So I think Kovalev's gonna stick it 2 or 3 rounds with the jab, and Pascal's gonna realize can't get in, and Pascal's gonna resort to swinging and doing his best Roy Jones impression. But Kovalev will be patient because he knows Pascal's dangerous. But I think Kovalev went on points. I think he's happy to. I think he's happy just to get in there and win by any means necessary.
Do you think the whole thing where Kovalev stuck his finger up at Pascal's going to make any difference there, and Pascal being aggressive towards him?
No, none whatsoever. Kovalev's been there. I think he's 32 years old. He's boxed all around the world as an amateur. He's a lot of fights. He's fought Bernard Hopkins. I'm sure Bernard Hopkins had a few words to say to him at some point or other in the build-up. And after the fight, they'll be best friends. They'll shake hands, and that's boxing. That's always the case.
Dave Allen, the White Rhino, thank you so much for talking with Bayloric TV, and we look forward to having you again soon.
Anytime. Thanks a lot.
Take care. All the best.
Thank you. Bye.